Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for coming to watch. So I've got you guys an update on a massive storm system that's currently getting going here across the United States. And as we get later into tonight and then into the very early morning hours of tomorrow morning, this storm is about to unload massive amounts of snow across the eastern United States. All right, so thank you all for joining me here on this Monday evening. We've got a lot to talk about in this video with new information. I apologize you can't see me. My screen recorder was acting up, so that's why. But nevertheless, we have a lot to talk about, and you can just see that already on radar. We've got a big storm that's marching its way up the East Coast. All right, I'm going to explain to you guys the new information that we've got here. We've got some very important details to talk about since my last video, which actually it wasn't yesterday, so it was Saturday. All right, Saturday night when I last updated. So we got new information yesterday, and guys, the models have continued to tick further south. So we got to get right into this. So here's your low pressure center right here. It's kind of where we thought it would be. But notice how the direction of the system, it's already more or less west to east. That's definitely going to support a farther southern track, and we already have cold air in place. This is that trough that's swinging down here that's going to be picking up the storm and kind of just throwing it out to sea. All right, but obviously not. It's too late for that to go completely out to sea, so we're going to see the snow, obviously. All right, so take a look here at your alerts. You can see that we are already active here in the Northeast. We've got winter storm warnings now in place for portions of southern New England down through PA. This is a different area than we first anticipated for just as far as alerts go, and I honestly got caught by surprise. But look at this. Boston's still hanging on to that winter storm warning, but winter weather advisories have replaced winter storm warnings for the central and western sections of Massachusetts because these totals have been shifted farther to the south and the east. So the coastline of Massachusetts, all of Rhode Island, and all of Connecticut are so far under that winter storm warning. Now, southern New York State, southeastern New York State, and New York City. Look at that. Look at that. New York City and all of Long Island, for the first time in 2 years, is under a winter storm warning. This is in effect from 4 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time tomorrow morning until, I believe, 6 p.m. All right, but wow, I mean, that is crazy that we saw such a big difference there. We're going to talk about totals in a bit, but you got northern New Jersey in the mix as well. This is all in that pink shade that I'm talking about. This goes right through eastern and south central portions of PA, and then just into extreme far western Maryland is where we have the end to the counties there in that winter storm warning. All right, surrounding areas of that, you're in the purple shade. That is a winter weather advisory for areas that will see maybe a few inches of snow, but definitely not enough to kind of just, issue those winter storm warnings. All right. Along the coastline, like extreme southern sections of Delmarva, and then on the southern coast of New Jersey, we've got aerial flood watches and some flood warnings there in the green shade because of the heavy rainfall that may lead to some river flooding. You've got wind advisories here for the Carolinas into Virginia and in northern Georgia. We're talking about these wind gusts that will be very strong even for the Northeast tomorrow, just with all the impacts of the system. The rest of the United States pretty calm for the most part. You got winter weather advisories, although here for portions of northwestern Montana, portions of Oregon, and then you can also see some you got winter storm watches as well in that blue shade. All right, so moving on here to the NAM 3-kilometer model. We're starting out with the southeast, just taking a look at what you could expect for the rest of today. This was a story 2 p.m. today. You had storms that are raging across Georgia and South Carolina. Luckily, the tornado threat wasn't as high as we thought it would be, so that's good. That severe weather threat has decreased, but you got storms moving with that low pressure center as of 6 p.m. today, which is just 4 hours ago. You had some pretty nasty storms racing across portions of Tennessee up towards Kentucky here, and then portions of Georgia and Alabama, and then also some storms down here into Florida. All right, and also into portions of South Carolina. All right, so definitely watch out for some of those storms that will be trying to move offshore with the system later tonight. But I do think that even some areas of North Carolina that still got hit by storms already may get hit again. So here we go, 11 p.m. This is basically 1 hour from where we are now. There's that low that's moving kind of drifting up to the north and east, you've got storms that are getting ready to impact this area here. And I do think that tonight it will be a loud night with some thunder, some lightning, definitely some very heavy rainfall, though, before this moves on out. Maybe even some backside snow, though, because look at this. This is what's important. This is that dip in the jet stream that we see here. That's pushing cold air down into down farther south, and we can see some of that backside snow beginning to start. And the fact that this is starting so far south down into Tennessee and southern Kentucky is a good sign for our folks up into the northeast. If you're just looking for higher totals in general, because if you're set and ready in the middle of the area that's expected to see the highest totals in not New York City, in the Northeast. All right, what you want is you want the snow to start up earlier because you know you're gonna get snow. You just want more snow. If you're a winter weather lover, that's what I'm assuming here. All right. But we're getting into 3 a.m. and you'll see that as we see these storms definitely rage across the Outer Banks of North Carolina up towards Delmarva here. Just watch as that snow will start to, or the rain will start to change over to snow on the backside before some cold, dry air and some high pressure replaces all the storminess down there in the southeast. All right. So, Storm Prediction Center. This was just updated. Earlier it was a slight risk. Actually, this was just a few hours ago. We are up to a slight risk here still for Georgia, but now this has shifted our attention up north. There it is. It's that same area that I was showing you guys on the NAM where we saw those thunderstorms that are raging across Tennessee and the Carolinas. Well, here we still have a marginal risk, level 1 out of 5 risk for Raleigh, Charlotte, Wilmington, all of South Carolina, Columbia, Charleston, Savannah into Georgia here, and then that's including Atlanta as well. All right, and then extreme eastern portions of Tennessee, but other than that, that is pretty much it. Tornado threat 2%, but that's for just the coastline of the Carolinas. A 5% wind threat and a less than 5% risk for your hail. So nothing too bad for the rest of tonight. And let's shift our attention here to the northeast. Got new information, guys. The HRRR, I just wanted to say the HRRR has been pumping out just insane snow totals. It's been cranking out insane snow totals there for southern New England. And I do think cities like New York City and Philadelphia, and including Trenton, New Jersey as well, I think cities along the I-95 corridor are just going to have a better shot at seeing higher totals. And that's not what I thought yesterday. Yesterday, I thought completely different. Now, I definitely have much more confidence in what we're going to see here. And I also wanted to mention that I am currently under a winter storm warning. I am in western Long Island right now. All right, my school already canceled for tomorrow, so big day ahead for me. I'll let you guys know what we see out here, but this storm is just going to be unloading snowfall, and we'll talk about that in a bit. All right, so here we are in the middle of the night. We're starting to see rain enter portions of southern Pennsylvania, portions of Delmarva here into New Jersey. A lot of these areas will start out as rain, but quickly change over to snow. And some of these areas will start out as rainfall, but we'll end up seeing the most amount of snow, which is weird from this. It's going to take time for the cold air to influence the precipitation, but here we go. This is 4 in the morning. The NAM's sticking to the idea here of New York City coming in, this storm coming into New York City with just some rain showers, all right? But you've got a good strip of snow, a good line of snow that's moving across basically those areas that are under winter storm warnings in south central and eastern PA, going through northern New Jersey. You got extremely heavy rainfall. It's raining like crazy with some big time thunderstorms down there into Delmarva that would impact Baltimore. You guys will say it'll rain. Philadelphia is going to struggle, but we'll see. All right. This is 4 in the morning. A lot of people think that for New York City and the metro area, they think that 4 in the morning is going to be when the snow starts. I think it might still come in as rainfall, but you'll quickly see a change over to snow. It may actually just come in as sleet, or, maybe it could even come in as just a slushy snow when it comes down, but then you'll start to see just the more regular snow types start to come in. But we're not there yet. This is 5 in the morning, and it's snowing like crazy out there into West Virginia, the mountains, the hills of West Virginia. My goodness, it's going to be snowing very heavily. Same thing for southern PA, northern New Jersey, and boom, there we go. This is just starting to unload massive amounts of snowfall. Okay, this is insane snow rates, but now Philadelphia is getting hammered here. And you see this pink shade here? Those are like 2 to 3 inch per hour snowfall rates. It's going to snow like you've never seen it before. It's just going to be crazy for at least an hour here. This is right around 7 a.m. that the NAM wants extreme heavy snow all the way up from New York City down through Trenton, and then down through Philadelphia as well. But it's snowing like crazy in southeastern sections of Pennsylvania. All right, northern and central portions of New Jersey, Long Island, and New York City. And then this starts to shift over to southern New England. Now, what's interesting here, the models have really been shifting farther south, and we saw today. Actually, I'll tell you guys. Last night we went from I think 1 to 2 inches for our forecast on Long Island, and now we're up to 8 to 12 inches. All right, but the crazy thing is just how much the models took sides last night and was definitely farther south, but they didn't stop. They continued to shift farther south throughout today, which I did not expect. And I think that's interesting. So you can see areas into southern New Jersey see that heavy snowfall and south of Long Island. That wasn't the case last night, maybe even this morning. I really don't think that the NAM was showing this, but it's interesting that we're seeing that now. So this is 9 in the morning tomorrow morning. You're waking up to everybody out here in southern New England, everybody on the coastline except down here in Delmarva is seeing snowfall. All right, and I think it looks like after that first initial, like band of rainfall, I think once you change over to snow, you'll stay as snow for Philadelphia. If this storm comes in as rainfall for New York City, once you change over to snow, you'll definitely stay as snow. So when does it continue? Like, how long does it continue for? Well, for southern New England, all right, we're getting to 11 a.m. here. It's still snowing on the Jersey coastline. It's still snowing in Long Island. It's still snowing in southern New England. Up towards Boston, we're still getting that snow. But also notice, Boston's just getting the very northern tip of this thing. And the NAM doesn't even, it's just one light to moderate snowfall. That's a huge change from yesterday. I think that this is definitely going to have to take, I think that's going to prompt the National Weather Service to take those winter storm warnings out of the region just because of how much this storm track has shifted farther south. And this will become a bomb cyclone. All right, a bomb cyclone needs to drop, I believe, 24 millibars in 24 hours or less. All right, and I think let's see, let's put this back to where we are in the beginning. This is, what is this, a 997 millibar low, and then right here this is a 976. I think that's 20. I think that's 20 millibars right there. 972, 971, 970. So actually, earlier today, this was a over 1,000 millibars. So it's taking that out 24 hours, and you see this becoming a 970 millibar low. I mean, you got yourself a bomb cyclone there. But this is really unloading some pretty incredible snowfall rates here and totals across portions of Rhode Island, Cape Cod. The Massachusetts coastline is still looking like you guys could get hit pretty hard. If I were the National Weather Service, I would definitely keep those winter storm warnings. They know what they're doing. They will definitely. All right, but it's still snowing by mid-afternoon. All right, or right around noon. All right, for southern New England, and this thing starts to finally pull out. But even into like the coast of Boston, the coast of Massachusetts, and even into Rhode Island, by 3 p.m. it'll still be snowing, and then finally by 6 p.m. everything will be kind of moving out with cold air entering the region behind all of this action. All right, so the moment you've all been waiting for. Yes, these are your official snow totals, and boy has it changed. Oh my gosh, this is so different from what we saw yesterday. It's just crazy. And this actually serves as a good lesson why you should never hype up a snowstorm for a specific area too early, because you never know. I mean, something can change like this. And I think that was just the most impressive model run change I've ever seen. And that really tells you that the models did such a poor job on this system. No model really had this pinpointed the entire time. It was just they were all over the place with this, and they completely changed all of them. All right, but this is the official forecast for me. All right, and this is on the what is this? The HRRR? Yeah, that's the HRRR. So we'll start up here in Boston. I would say about 4 to 6 inches. That's what the HRRR is showing northern, like way up here to Worcester. All right, I think 2 inches. I think that's how you pronounce that. All right, for South Central Mass, only 3 inches. It's definitely a lot less than what we saw yesterday. And then down here into the coast, like the down eastern Mass here, we're still getting up to a foot. I would say really 12 to 14 inches, especially off towards Cape Cod. All right, into Rhode Island, I would say 10 to 12 inches. For northern and central portions of Connecticut, it's going to be close, but I think it's going to be in between 4 to 8 inches. And then southern Connecticut, 10 to 12 inches. I mean, this is insane, but Long Island, the HRRR is throwing 15 inches of snow down on you guys. That's not out of the picture. And the HRRR may be overdoing this, but 15 inches, guys, I mean, that would definitely, I think that would actually give you guys the most snow out of anybody, which we did not see this coming here. But this is for extreme southern New York State and all of Long Island, New York City, 14 inches right there. A foot of snow is looking more and more likely as we get closer to this time frame. But northern New Jersey, 8 to 10 inches. Central New Jersey, 14 inches. I mean, I'm reading off insane numbers here, and it's just crazy how we're seeing the HRRR just, pump out and crank out these numbers. All right. But even to southern New Jersey, 4 to 6 inches is possible. Like down towards Atlantic City, I mean, we're going for like 5, 6, maybe even 7 inches. That's just incredible how much that changed. And then I think this is just completely wrong. But I mean, the HRRR wants a foot of snow, 10 inches of snow to fall here into northern Maryland. I would scratch that. Don't get your hopes up. All right. So a lot of this is definitely going to be overdone here, but some of these totals are definitely possible and not out of the picture. I would say even for Long Island too. All right, but here's Philadelphia. A foot of snow is possible. South Central PA going from really what was, I think this was like 10 to 12 inches and now to 4 to 6 inches. All right. But if you're off to the east of southeastern PA, definitely higher totals there. All right, and then for extreme northern Virginia, these upper elevations, really 10 inches plus. Same thing for West Virginia there. So that was a big change that we just went through, and uh, just the forecast right now is just completely different. And what I am insisting you guys do is right now, type in the National Weather Service in your browser, all right, and you'll click on the first thing that pops up. All right, you'll find a big map. With all the alerts that I show you guys every day in the beginning of my updates, you'll see that map. Click on the area, the general area that you live in, and scroll down a little bit, and you'll see like a briefing. All right, and then if you click on that and it says like forecast above it, it will unload like a few categories, and if you click on winter, that's where you can find your official snowfall totals forecast. And that is definitely more reliable than what these models are showing. But even the models are a good thing to look at here. It's just kind of good to show us what range that we're going to be in, and just tracking, what the trend is, for what the model trend is, either if it's shifting north or shifting south. All right. So, we're going to be dealing with gusty winds with this system. I want to just go through this pretty quickly because I do think we will see maybe some spotty power outages because of also the heavy snow with this. But notice this down here towards Atlantic City, we're already gusting about 40 miles per hour. This is 4 a.m. Tomorrow morning here. The same thing for Reading, PA, about 40 miles per hour. But I mean, these gusts along the outer banks of North Carolina may be as high as 60, maybe even 70 miles per hour here. Ocracoke or Ocracoke, I think that's how you pronounce it. About 60 miles per hour. All right, but up and down here of North Carolina and South Carolina, we're talking about 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts. Those upper elevations, though, guys, it's going to get, very, very windy, and this will most likely continue into tomorrow, where we'll see along up and down the coastline, I would say really 30 to 40 miles per hour, with some gusts that could get as high as 50 miles per hour. This could cause some, spotty power outages. But yes, that's just not going to help with just the power connection with the system, because you got the snowfall. It's very heavy snow, and believe it or not, snow can actually just it can help bring those power outages up. But I don't think that these winds are going to be too bad, but definitely some gusty winds, 30 to 40 miles per hour, and then some areas maxing out at about 50 miles per hour. All right, so I haven't shown you guys this map in a long time, but I do want to take a look at it now. This is the current winter storm severity index. This map basically shows you which areas are forecasted to become hit the hardest. So we'll start out in Pennsylvania here. This is the orange shade. This is where we're expecting moderate impacts, so expect disruptions of daily life. Hazardous driving conditions. Use extra caution while driving. Closures and disruptions to infrastructure may occur. So this is this is pretty moderate zone. This is where you're set for a pretty good winter storm. This is including cities like Chambersburg, all right, Harrisonburg, Lancaster, Reading, Allentown, areas off towards New Jersey, but Philadelphia, so far you're in the minor impacts area, but this could change. All right, Hazleton, Scranton, all right, some big areas here that I'm naming here that are in the moderate impacts area. All right, and believe it or not, you do have areas of northern Maryland like Frederick here, and Hagerstown, and maybe even Germantown that are currently in the moderate impacts. I think that may change to a minor impact, but it's definitely just to see there that it's possible that we will see some winter storm impacts as far south as there. All right, now up to New Jersey. Here we go. Major impact. That's in this red shade. All right, this is for northern New Jersey. Expect considerable disruptions of daily life, dangerous or impossible driving conditions. Avoid travel if possible. Widespread closures and disruptions to infrastructure may occur. All right, well, let's get some cities up here. We got Paterson, Sussex County. All right, Parsippany, Dover. You got Ogdensburg, Newton. All right, there's a lot of big cities out here. I don't believe Trenton is actually in this risk, but you've got Oakland, all right, Pompton Lakes. So there are definitely some minor towns and maybe some cities out here that are in this risk area, and then this spreads into some areas of northeastern PA, but only Pike is really the only town or city that's in that risk. The rest of northern New Jersey and central New Jersey in the orange risk. Now let's go here into Long Island and New York City. We're in the Long Island. We've got the major impact zone here. This is including Brentwood, Selden, Lake Grove, Farmingdale. All right, we got East Patchogue. All right, I'm definitely not saying that correct. All right, you got Glenwood Landing, Syosset, Seacliff, Hicksville. All right, Brentwood. So a lot of big areas out here, but the rest of the island is in those moderate impacts risk all the way out to eastern Long Island here. All right, but you got Levittown, Hempstead, Valley Stream, Seaford, Massapequa, West Babylon, Glen Cove, Port Washington. All right, and then down here in New York City. All right, you got all the islands, but believe it or not, the Bronx actually appears to be in that major risk all the way up towards White Plains and Yonkers. All right, here we are for southern, all of Connecticut, really, central and southern Connecticut, moderate to major impacts. Same thing for the coast of Massachusetts and all of Rhode Island. All right. So finally, I just want to quickly take a look at what we could expect going forward because we are going to be dealing with active times ahead. And let's get this rolling here. There goes that first system. We get watching a clipper system behind it that could move through, bring some additional, inches of snow to some areas. And then we get into next week, or this would be Saturday, I guess. But towards the end of this week, we get a system that it's got cold air to work with, and I do think that this could bring this could be a moderately strong winter storm for some of these areas. And we've been watching a signal for this, see what the models take on this. But the GFS takes this down to a 993 millibar low, and it brings some snow down onto the northeast before that heads on out. All right. And so I really haven't watching any specific big systems coming up, but there are some signals there, especially that one, 991 millibar low, throwing some snow into interior northeast. But a lot of cold blasts is what the GFS is showing, and that's always an active pattern when you get cold blasts, and then you also got ridges that are bumping up. So definitely a supportive pattern ahead for snowstorms, some storm action, but just nothing that I'm watching in general. Right? So that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for coming to watch. I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, I apologize about not seeing my face. All right, I really am annoyed with my screen recorder. All right, but unfortunately, it's not working at the moment. All right, stay tuned. All right, maybe I might upload a short update tomorrow morning. All right, just an update on what we see out here. All right, but let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to know how much snow you get. All right, I really want to see these totals out there. And see how our forecasts and predictions line up. All right. But yeah, I got more updates on the way for everything going forward. All right, and I hope you have a great day. And if you are can't, if your business or your work, if you want to put it that way, or school is canceled, I hope you have a great day and a fun day in the snow. If you want to play out there, I don't know. All right, but I love the snow. All right, I love forecasting snowstorms. But yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, so thank you all for coming to watch. I'll see you guys.